Hey guys, and welcome to Factoring Trinomials. And this is going to be kind of a condensed version of our standard form. And if you recall, standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. So this is your very first step to make sure that your equation or expression is in standard form. All right, so in order to factor, the very first thing that we are going to do is slip our a to the end of the trinomial and multiply by our c. Okay? Now, all of this is going to be very confusing and not make a lot of sense until we do an example. Okay? But we're still going to go through this. All right. And then our step 2 is going to be to factor our trinomial, which I'll show you how to do, obviously. And then we're going to divide both of our factors by the value that we multiplied by in step 1. So original. Is that how you spell original? I don't think so, but I'm going to leave it. All right. And we're going to reduce our fractions and slide any denominators up to the next variable. And I'll show you what I mean. So let's go ahead and jump right on in to our very first example. So check to make sure that it's in standard form. Ax squared plus bx plus c. Perfect. All right, and then we're going to slip our a to the end of the trinomial and multiply it by c. So we're going to slip this 2. We're going to multiply it by this 3. Okay? So what we're going to end up with is x squared plus 5x plus 6, because we're multiplying the 2 times the 3, and then that 2 is no longer there. All right? And then, in order to factor, we need to list out the factors of 6. So, factors of 6 are going to be the numbers that multiply to give us 6. So, that's going to be 1 and 6. And 2 times 3. Okay? So, we want it to multiply to give us 6, and then we're going to look at our factors and see which ones are going to add to give us 5. All right, so we want the numbers that are going to multiply to give us this number and add to give us this number, and that will always hold true. All right, so 6 plus 1 will give us 7. 3 plus 2 will give us 5. There we go. So we want this one. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to draw 2 parentheses. Okay, and whatever letter they give us, we're going to put one of them in each of our parentheses. Okay, now we said we were going to use the 2 and the 3, so we're going to put a 2 here and a 3 here. It does not matter. You could also put a 3 here and a 2 here. Okay, and then your largest number out of these two, which is obviously the 3, is going to take whatever this sign is. Okay, so this is going to be a plus 3. And then this sign is going to be whatever it needs to be in order to get to a plus 5 and a plus 6. So 3 plus 2 will give us 5, and 3 times 2 will give us positive 6. Okay, so that is factoring. And now we need to divide both of our factors by the value we slipped in step 1. So the value that we slipped was the 2. So we're going to divide both of these numbers by 2. We're going to reduce our fraction. Okay, so 2 divided by 2 is going to give us 1. And then we're going to 3 divided by 2 does not reduce. Okay, so since we reduced, now we need to slide any denominators up to the next variable. So I'm going to slide this 2 in front of this x. So our final answer is going to be x plus 1, 2x plus 3. Okay, that's a lot. Let's try it again. Sorry for the background noise. Okay, so slip your a to the end of your trinomial and multiply by c. So that's going to be 5 times 6. So I'm going to have m squared minus 17m plus 30. Now we want to find our factors of 30. So that's going to be 1 and 30, 2, 15, 3, 10, 5, and 6. Okay? So now we want to find the factors that are going to multiply to give us 30 and add or subtract to give us negative 17. So 1 plus 30 will give us 31. 30 minus 1 will give us 29. 2 plus 15 will give us 17. There we go. Check to make sure the other ones. 3 plus 10, 13. 5 plus 6, 11. So we definitely want to use this one. Alrighty. So now we're going to draw our two parentheses. We're going to put this letter, the M, in each of our parentheses. We're going to put our numbers in, and this time I'm going to do 15 and 2. Our 15 is going to take this sign because our larger number out of these two numbers will always take this first sign. And then I have a negative 15. I need to get to negative 17. So negative 15 minus 2 will give us negative 17. Negative 15 times negative 2 will give us positive 30. Alrighty? And so now we need to divide our factors by the value that we slipped in our very first step. So we need to divide both of these by 5. Okay? Alrighty. So now we need to reduce our fractions. So 15 divided by 5 is going to give us 3. And then 2/5 does not simplify. So we're going to leave that. And then our final step is that we are going to slide our denominator up to our next variable. So we're going to leave the m minus 3. We're going to slide this 5 right in front of the m. And that is going to be your answer. Oh, and let me box this other answer for you guys so you know your final answer. Alright, good job guys. So let's try example 3. Okay, let me scooch this. But that way you can still see our other examples. Alrighty, so now we don't have our steps listed in front of us, or at least in front of me. So our very first step, multiply your A times your C. So that's going to be 6 times 4, which is going to give us 24. Alright, and then we need to list our factors of 24. So that's going to be 1, 24, 2, 12, 3, 8, 4, and 6. And guys, if you're not good with factors, use a calculator. Whenever it's an even number, start by dividing by 2, okay? And then continue 3, 4, 5, all right? If it's an odd number, start with 3. If it ends in 5, start with 5, okay? These are very easy tricks to know what to start to divide by. Alrighty, so next we need to find our factors that are going to multiply to give us 24 and add to give us negative 5. Alrighty, so 1 and 24, that'll give us 23 or 25. 2 and 12, that will give us 10 or 14. 3 and 8, well that could give us 5. It could also give us 11. 4 and 6 will give us 1 and 11. So we want to use the 3 and the 8 because that will give us 5. So now we're going to set up our parentheses. We are going to put our letter in both of them. So we have a y in both parentheses. Because we said we were going to use 3 and 8, we're going to put a 3 in one and an 8 in the other. Remember, your largest number, which is going to be this 8, is always going to take this sign, whatever it may be. So that's going to be a -8. So now I have -8. I need to get to -5. So -8 plus 3 is going to give us -5. And -8 times +3 will give us -24. And that's how you check to make sure that you did your factors right. Alrighty, so now our next step, we need to divide by the number that we multiplied at the start. Okay, so now we need to reduce our fractions. Okay. If you are not good at reducing fractions, put this into your calculator. Make sure you use the n divided by d button and do 3 divided by 6 and press enter, and it will automatically give you 1/2. And then do the same with 8 divided by 6, and that should give you 4/3. Okay? So if you notice this time we did not have a nice easy reduction, so now we have to slide both of our denominators in front of our variables. So we're going to have 2y plus 1, and we're going to have 3y minus 4. Okay, and that is going to be our answer. Now, if you guys notice, these answers look awfully similar to our intercept form that we did when we were working with graphing quadratics. And this is why we do this, because it automatically gives us our solutions when we are graphing quadratics. And remember, our solutions are our x-intercepts, our roots are zeros. All right, so let's try this last example here. We are going to multiply our a times our c, so that's going to be 12 times 5. So we're going to be left with c squared plus 11c minus 60. We need to find our factors of 60. It's going to be 1, 60, 2, 30, 3, 20, 4, 15, 5, 12, 6, and 10. Okay, that's kind of a lot of factors, but again, you guys will have a calculator for this, and hopefully you guys will get pretty good with recognizing which factors. Okay, so now we need numbers that are going to add or subtract to give us 11. Okay, 1 and 60 will give us 61 or 59. 2 and 30, 32 or 28. 3 and 20 will give us 23 or 17. 4 and 15 will give us 19 or 11. Hey, there we go. 5 and 12 will give us 17 or 8, 7. I think it's 7. And then 6 and 10 will give us 16 or 4. So we definitely want to use the 4 and 5. So guys, the reason why I go through each set of numbers, even though I already found one, is because sometimes you will have two options and you will have to decide which one to use, and there is a wrong answer, okay? But you will see that later. Alrighty, so now we're going to set up our parentheses, okay? And we're going to put a C in both of them. And then we said we're going to use 4 and 15. I'm going to put a 15 here and a 4 here. And then our larger number is always going to take this sign. And now I have 15 and I need to add or subtract to get to 11. So this 4 needs to be negative. Also, because 15 times -4 will give us -60. Okay, so now that we've done that, we need to divide by what we multiplied by. And we multiplied by 12. Now we need to reduce our fractions. Okay, so I'm going to have C plus, remember to put it into your calculator, and this should be 5 over 4. And then C minus, this should be 1 over 3. And then we are going to slide our denominators in front of our variables. And we're going to get 4c plus 5 times 3c minus 1. And that is our answer. Good job, guys. So now y'all have some examples that y'all can do. And you can do them on your own time. We are going to move to the next page. And we're going to start with number 10. Actually, we're going to do 12. Okay? So, because 12 is a little bit easier. So, the very first thing when we have multi-step factoring is that we need to look for a greatest common factor first. Okay? Greatest common factor is the number that you can multiply by each term. That's the word I'm looking for, term. Okay? So, what I want you guys to do is to go ahead and put division signs. Okay? Never do 1. 1 is not helpful. Okay? So start with 2. We can definitely divide 12 by 2. We can definitely divide 2 by 2, and same over here. Okay? And that's going to be our greatest common factor because of these numbers right here. We cannot divide 2 by anything larger than 2 because otherwise it becomes a fraction and that's not helpful. Okay? So we are going to divide everything by 2. And we are going to write down what we divide by right here. And then we're going to draw a really big parentheses. And we are going to divide each of our terms by 2. So 12 divided by 2 will give us 6 and bring down the x squared. 2 divided by 2 will give us 1 and bring down your x. Negative 2 divided by 2 will give us negative 1. Okay? And you know that you've done this correctly because there is not a greatest common factor here other than 1, which is not helpful. Okay? So once you get your greatest common factor to be 1, you're done. Okay? Alrighty. So now we're going to do exactly what we did before. We're going to multiply our A times our C. Now we are only working inside this parentheses, okay? Do not use this 2 anymore, but you are going to continue to bring it down. So we're going to bring down the 2. We're going to have x parentheses x squared plus x minus 6. Okay? Find your factors of 6, or 1 and 6, 2 and 3. Which one is going to multiply to give you 6 and add to give you 1? Well, this one will give you 7 or 5. This one will give you 5 or 1. So we definitely want to use the 2 and 3. Alrighty. So now we're going to bring down your 2 again. It doesn't go away. We're going to draw our 2 parentheses. And then we have an x, so that is going to continue to go in both of our parentheses. We're going to have a 2 and a 3. Your larger number will always take this sign. And then I have a positive 3 and I need to get to 1. So this 2 needs to be negative. Okay? And 3 times negative 2 will give you negative 6. Alrighty. So then we are going to divide by what we multiplied by, which remember was this 6, okay? Remember, always inside the parentheses, never outside. Always inside. So we're going to divide by 6. We are going to reduce our fractions. Remember to bring down this 2. We get x minus 1/3 and x plus 1/2. And then our final step is going to be to slide our denominators up in front of our variables. So we get 3x minus 1 and 2x plus 1. And that is our final answer. Whew, that was long, okay? But very doable. So let's try 13. Okay, we'll do a couple of these. We'll do these bottom three, I think, and then we'll be done. All right, so look for a greatest common factor. So we're going to divide each of these pieces. 2 does not work because 15 is not even. 3 works because 15 divided by 3 is 5, 18 divided by 3 is 6, 24 divided by 3 is 8. Awesome. Let's see if there's something bigger, and I'll write the 3 right here so we don't forget it. Okay, 4 doesn't work because 15 and 18 don't divide by 4. 5 won't work because these two numbers don't divide by 5. 6 won't work because 15 doesn't go into 6. 7 doesn't go into any of these. 8 doesn't go into these two. 9 doesn't go into these two. And once you get to 10, you can stop. Okay? Alrighty. So 3 is going to be our greatest common factor. So we're going to divide each piece by 3. And then remember, we are going to take out the 3, and we're going to draw that big parentheses. So 15 divided by 3 will give us 5. Bring down the y squared. Negative 18 divided by 3 will give us negative 6. Bring down the y. And then negative 24 divided by 3 will give us negative 8. Okay? And now it's a problem just like we were working with. Multiply the 5 times the 8, and we'll have 3 y squared minus 6y minus 40. Find your factors of 40, and those are going to be 1 and 40, 2 and 20, 4 and 10, 5 and 8. Okay, and you want to find the one that is going to multiply to give you 40, add or subtract to give you 6. So this will give you 41 or 39, 22, 18, 14, 6, there we go, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, or 3. So we want to use 4 and 10. So we're going to draw our double parentheses. Don't forget to bring down your 3. Put your letter in each. Okay? And put your 4 and your 10. And then your larger number will always take this sign, so that's going to be negative. And then we have negative 10, we need to get to negative 6, so this 4 needs to be positive. And also positive 4 times negative 10 will give us negative 40. Don't forget, we still need to divide by what we multiplied by, which is going to be this 5. We need to reduce our fractions. Don't forget to bring down that 3. 4 over 5 does not reduce, so we're just going to leave that for now. And then 10 divided by 5 will give us 2. Don't forget your signs. And our final step is that we need to slide that denominator in front of our variable. So we're going to have 3 parentheses 5y plus 4 parentheses y minus 2. And that's your answer. Whew, that's a lot. You guys doing okay? Alright, how about we just do one more? Sound good? Alrighty. Then let's do, which one do y'all want to do? Let's do 15. 15 looks kind of scary. Alright, so we are going to start by looking for our greatest common factor. 2 will not work because of 15. 3 goes into all of them. 4 doesn't work because of that one. 5 doesn't work with those. 6 doesn't work with that one. 7, none of them. 8, 9. So we're going to do 3 again. Okay? So we're going to bring down that 3 and write our big parentheses. 12 divided by 3 will give us 4. Bring down your m squared. 24 divided by 3 will give us 8. Bring down that m. 15 divided by 3 will give us 5. Alrighty, don't forget your signs. You just bring them down, okay? Alright, so now we're going to multiply 4 times the 5. Bring down your 3 for m squared minus 8m minus 20. Find your factors of 20. And that's going to be 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5. Find which ones are going to add or subtract to give you 8. And that's going to be the 2 and 10. Bring down your 3. Write your 2 parentheses. Put an m in both. Put your 2 and your 10. Your larger number will always take this sign. And we have negative 10. We need to get to negative 8, so this needs to be positive. Positive 2 times negative 10 will give you negative 20. Good. We need to divide by what we multiplied by. Just going to give us that 4 from right here. Okay. Reduce our fractions. Don't forget to bring down that 3. 2 over 4 will give us 1/2. 10 over 4 will give us 5 over 2. Final step, we need to slide our denominators in front of our variables. So we have 3 times 2m plus 1 times 2m minus 5. And we're done. Good job, guys. Alrighty. So, you guys have some more practice that you are welcome to work on. Good job, guys.